Hello and welcome to Purpletv Bharat. In today's special interview, we have a really special person who is a religious leader, a diocesan priest who has done his bachelor's degree in psychology and his master's degree in social work, who is the current director of Caritas Goa, which looks after the person with deaf and blindness. Being a director, he has won many state and national awards for this institution. He is the former member of Goa State Commission for Protection of Children's Rights. He is none other than FR.MAVRICK Fernandes. Welcome to our show, Father.
Well, thank you.
So, Father, to begin with, could you educate our viewers about the unique disability of deaf and blindness?
Sure. We have to understand that we have 5 senses basically. And a person with deaf blindness has got various degrees of difficulty with vision and hearing. As far as sensations which give us information, 94 to 95% of information that we receive is through vision and hearing. And the 3 other senses of sense of touch, taste and smell gives us just 6% of the information through the sensation. So a person with deaf blindness has got absent information of through sensations 94 to 95%. Now with such a situation, we have to work with these persons. Now what I say, deaf blindness, there are variations. Some are high degree of complete total vision problem or hearing problem. Now in this situation, with these 3 senses and the sensation information that they receive with the 6%, we have to work with them. But I must say we have been able to work quite a lot with them, with children and young adults, because there are very huge success stories that we have been able to. So that's what deaf blindness is, in a brief way to understand what it is.
Okay, so how can we detect this disability?
Well, the detection of disability, first is when the child is born, there might be some symptoms as far as vision is concerned or hearing is concerned. But basically, once they start meeting the doctor, then they begin to identify through the various tests that are conducted of vision and hearing. So that's how we come to know how a person is having problems with vision and hearing. So that's how the early detection that takes place. And early detection is what we have got to focus on. And that is our whole concentration. That's why we create a lot of awareness with the Anganwadis, with the doctors, clinics. Early intervention is it's very important, because then we can start early the interventions for the children.
So thank you, Father, for this information. I'm sure our viewers must have gained a lot of knowledge about this. And also I would like to congratulate you for the amazing work that you are doing. So could you tell us about Caritas Goa? What is it about?
Well, Caritas Goa was established in 1962. We have already crossed 60 years of our work in the state of Goa. We have been reaching out to, one of our primary work is with the disability sector. In fact, Caritas Goa established the first educational institution as well as vocational institution in the state of Goa, when nobody was talking about it. So we were the pioneers sort of in the field of disability. Now in this context, we expanded quite a lot. We first started a school, and then we started a vocational center, and then we started a school in Old Goa. Later on, we saw that there was an area of work because there we take up all the other disabilities except the blind. So we wanted to start something for the blind, and this opportunity came to us that deaf blindness is a very unique disability which is not provided services in the state of Goa. In fact, when we started, we didn't even know that there are people with deaf blindness. In the first 2-3 months, we were just struggling to understand this whole thing and get the numbers. Today, we have more than 200 persons in the whole state of Goa who are deaf blind, really deaf blind. No? So this is how we have been reaching out to. Apart from that, we have another service also for adult disabled. We call it Divya Sadan, that's in Porvorim. And this is basically instituted in terms of the large communities, where here people with and without disabilities, intellectual disability, live together. we respect the capacity of an intellectually disabled person to make decisions. So in this home, we call it a community home, there are people who are with intellectual disabilities take decisions for the days running, or what will be cooked for the day, who will be doing the cleaning of the house. So they are all involved, able and disabled are involved into this. So this is a unique program of ours. Our admission process is a little lengthy. It's not an institutional way by which someone comes and admits and then leaves the child or adult and goes home. Here, almost 2 weeks go into admitting the person, because they have to be part of our day program first. And then if they think they want to be part of it, they start by asking whether they can stay for a weekend. Now, the person may want to stay for a weekend. The ones who are already living, they have to be able to welcome them. So they also have to agree to accept a new person in the home. So this is why we call it a community home. There has been acceptance. What is basically that we look here is the ability to make decisions even by the intellectual disabled, which is respecting the rights of persons with disability.
So Father, it's really great the amount of work you all are doing. So Father, so what are the services you'll provide for persons with disability in this home?
Now, through that program of Divya Sadan, we have a day sheltered program. So there are people who come and go, and we have people who live in the house. So there are two aspects to that home. Now, as far as deafblind is concerned, here we provide practically everything of services that are required for disabled. We basically we provide also home-based services besides the center-based services. In fact, I think we are the only ones who are providing home-based services in the state, because the outreach across the state has been practically to the nooks and corners of Goa. Today only I had a meeting with our staff, and I was looking at the various different villages that we have reached out to, the different slums that we are going to, the different localities, also in the cities, where people are being provided these services. So we are practically reaching to most of the corners of the state of Goa with I must say, a limited staff, because the numbers that we are reaching out to more than 300 persons. So, and home-based services takes a taxing time, because our local transport is not that strong. We waste a lot of time in the local transportation, and so they have to reach out to different persons in different places. So this is home-based services. Now we also support them with assistive devices. We support them when they are ration, very poor people. We support them in medical help. And this is how we reach out to also creating livelihood opportunities for the young adults. So we don't just leave them. So we initially start with the early intervention, then we start with their academics, functional skills, then we assess their capacity of individuals to see whether they can be tried for some vocational programs. And as a result of which, then we also give them some livelihood options. So in this sense, we have got quite a lot of successes in terms of making them stand on their own. The deafblind, with 6% of sensation that they receive. You must always understand, a deafblindness is a unique disability. And when you say unique disability, it's not just vision and hearing. There are also multiple disabilities attached to deafblindness. So sometimes there are CP persons, that time there are ID persons. So these are, sometimes they can be also Down syndrome, autistic. These are the various disabilities that get attached to deafblindness. Despite all that, they've been able to move ahead with them.
Because usually they consider people in the society, the normal people, they consider the person with disability to be always dependent on somebody else. But then you all are doing this great work, making them independent and work. So it's a great thing. So Father, how many people are currently there, and how do you all function?
See, we have two programs, one in North Goa, one in South Goa. We have around 222 persons that we reach out to in the North Goa, and the remaining we have around 140 who are in South Goa. So practically more than 360 persons that we are reaching out to, of which 209 to be specific are deafblind. The others are having intellectual disability, they have autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy and other disabilities. We serve them because these are people at the schools also, special schools have difficulty because of the severity of their condition, and that's why we reach out to them in their homes.
So Father, if anybody wants a person of disability to do their admission in Caritas, so like what is the procedure for it? Like do they have to pay or is it free?
Now see, we run a school. The school, the special school that we run for children with disabilities, that is, the children don't have to pay any fees, just like any other school. It's because it is supported by the education department with the salaries of the teachers. In our deaf-blind program, we don't charge any fees for the children. We are supported by an organization, by a foundation to carry on this work. At Divya Southern, we have a very minimal fee. It is not actually covering even that what we have put in, it is not sufficient to take care of it. But through people's support, we are managing these programs. Funds is never a problem when your service is genuine.
Definitely, I must agree.
Providence provides. Yeah.
Absolutely. So Father, you have been working closely with such type of people, person with disability. So what are the issues they face in the society?
Well, their problems usually, one of the things I must say, or constantly rather, we hear this from them is, we have not received our monthly DSS amounts. Time and again, because many of these families are dependent on this. And when it gets postponed for months together, it's a big stress on the family, because the child with disability itself takes a lot of toll on their family. The next thing that they say is the acceptance from the society, the stigmatization that takes place. You may notice in the society today the numbers are growing. I would say it's not the numbers that are growing with disabled, the awareness is growing, and therefore people are now gradually coming out. So the numbers get recorded. It was not that earlier there were no disabled. There were disabled. People were not coming out in the open. They were thinking that others, the society will think, oh, there's a curse in this family, therefore they have a child with disability. Today, with the growing awareness and people's sensitization, more and more families are coming out expressing that their child is disabled. So, because I know at the situation when sometimes, particularly with the deaf-blind, when we started programs, we even found children tied inside with the closed rooms, locked inside in the closed rooms. We didn't know what the child was doing inside. Today, we have reached out to that, and there are people of similar ones now who are traveling on their own because of the interventions that we have made in their lives. So this is stigmatizing people. Sometimes they are unable to fend, they have to go and work. These are difficulties the families face. Accessibility. This is a big question here. When accessibility is not there, the opportunities are limited. And if it is not, opportunities can be accessed only if things are accessible to them. Accessibility in terms of their education, accessible in terms of their vocational. Because it's not enough just to have them educated. You have to also get them opportunities for vocational training. And this is something which is a challenge for not just the society but the government, to see that the child not just gets educated but also is able to stand on their own. That's where we, in small efforts, try to reach out to these young adults so that they can start something of their own. They can take up something of their own, supported by their families, so they can be on their own. This is what we are looking at. And these are their difficulties that they face on a regular basis. Yeah.
Okay. So Father, is this genetics? Does it carry from one generation to another? So,
if you are referring to deaf-blindness,
yes,
partly they say it is genetic. But it is also the other factors that it can be acquired because of the types of syndromes that they can be. It can be also some of the syndromes which lead to this deaf-blindness. So, congenitally also. So, this is how they state about the cause of the deaf-blindness. Yeah.
Okay. So, in Goa, are the cases of this rising?
Well, I would say the awareness is rising.
Okay.
Because even for us, when we began, it was just in the first 2-3 months, we struggled to get 4 persons. Because that foundation asked us to identify at least a few people. We started this program in 2012, we're in 24. Now what happens is we have around 209, as I said to you, deafblind, purely deafblind person. So it's because of the large awareness, sensitization of the community, the people, the doctors, the Anganwadi workers, and different community members. That's how we've been able to reach out. The panchayats have been helping us quite a lot in identifying people with this type of disability.
So, Father, how can we aim to have an inclusive society for people like this?
First and foremost, the primary thing is a very well sensitized community. If people are aware, to treat them as equals, not to treat them as someone who is unable. Inability comes in because no support is given. Disability increases because you're not assisting them. So if we can assist, disability cannot be seen as disability. It is a different ability. So this is how the society has to look at, be sensitized and see them as equals. We have seen this in several other countries, how a person with disability is so much respected that the provisions even in the public transport is made for their wheelchair. This is recognizing that their right to travel with the public transport has to be provided for. So this is something we need to come up with. And that's what I was saying. If this accessibility is there, then people will be able to recognize them also as equals.
So what are the things we as citizens need to do?
That's what I was trying to say, that we have to treat them as equals. First, don't stigmatize them. Don't look at them as someone who is unable to do. When the society recognizes, the citizens recognize this, the capacity, different various forms. Because in an overall sense, I can say all of us are disabled. There are some abilities that I don't have. Some abilities that people don't have, but they may have it. If we calculate that, all of us are disabled. But when we consider everybody as equal, then we recognize the ability of each individual. When the society understands this, we can have a very pleasant stay.
So what are your suggestions, Father, to the government in regards to this?
Yeah, government has been taking some steps. What we noticed is, as far as sensitization is concerned, the Purple Fest is a good initiative of the government to make this importance of the disability widespread, to make it known to people, the various different types of disabilities. This is a very good initiative, I must appreciate, because sometimes people only talk the negatives of it. But this is something which I've always appreciated, that event can make the whole society aware of a very important section of the society. And see that in this, as through the Purple Fest, they have been able to also provide information to people about the different disabilities. What are their challenges? What are their requirements? Also, people who are in the field of disability have been able to understand that there are technological supports that exist, which life can be still better. Now, this is what the government has to be on it. They've begun, it's a good step, but they should not just stop into having events. They should also go ahead to see that these events actualize into the daily lives of people. Otherwise, people turn up and say that, because these are accusations, they say, oh, they're only having fees, nothing is reaching out to us. That accusation gets spoiled the good efforts that you do. So this is what government has to look into. Have this fest, create a large awareness, which is a very good step, but also actualize it in the daily lives of people. One of it is also to see that their timely dole that they receive every month is given in time. Fix a date. That will also increase the credibility of the government, that they are really committed to the cause of the disabled. This is one thing I would like to say. Secondly, also the technological support that exists, that the government can subsidize it, assist them, assistive devices. Assistive devices increases the accessibility. So this is another aspect that the Commission for the Disabled also has made a request to the government to increase the financial assistance. These are conditions which, if the government takes it very seriously, it will give a very clear-cut indication that the government is serious about this section of the society. This is what we are expecting from people.
So, Father, as we come to the end of today's interview, so can you give a quick small message to all the viewers who are watching you?
If you come across any person with disability, the first thing is assist them to do a test of it. With this early testing that takes place, you can assess where the child requires assistance. Accordingly, the intervention starts early. So the whole focus of the whole society should be of early intervention. We have a good centers in North and South, the district early intervention centers. They're doing a fabulous job. They have to be supported. Their staff has to be increased. We've been closely working with them. They are understaffed. But what I'm trying to say is, if the society finds any person with disability, first assist them to reach to these services which exist to test them. Once that is done, the child gets early intervention. From there, the whole world opens up for them. So this is what I would like to ask and request. Treat them as equals by giving them opportunities of these services.
Okay, so with this we come to an end of today's episode. So thank you so much, Father Maverick Fernandes, for coming to our show and giving us and our audience a beautiful message and the awareness that you have created. It has really helped me a lot to know. You gave us a lot of knowledge. Thank you for your time. And thank you everybody for watching this show. Keep watching Purpletv Bharat. Thank you.